Restoring Men in History, we've got a magnificent one for you today. Lethal Weapon. What can you men, what can you women take from this film? We're not going to break down the whole film, but I love this movie. It's awesome. It's a manly film. It's a Christmas film. It's got it all. Great martial arts fight scenes done by Horian Gracie. He came in there and choreographed that fight scene at the end, that big one, which is great for men to watch. It's a man's film and a Christmas film all in one dynamic. Excellent fight. And the Beretta, that special weapon that Mel Gibson carries, Martin Riggs. And Mel Gibson's just phenomenal in this role. Great acting, great directing. It's a serious tone, see. None of that comedic nonsense. You believe it, it's real, it can happen. It's gritty, it's real. If you like this video, please comment, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Thank you. So, what do we got here? Right off the bat, we start out with Bobby Helms giving you the Christmas spirit with Jingle Bell Rock. And then a girl jumps off a balcony, which is a little eerie, and there's some eerie music, which sets the tone, a serious tone that can happen in real life today. So this movie is held up. One of my favorite films. It's phenomenal. You got to watch it if you haven't seen it. Just fantastic. Now, we're not here to break it down again. Shane Black has written this dark, good piece, so hats off to him. What's prominent in this film? First of all, death is prominent in this film, and we should think about it more often, and especially at Christmas. You see the young girl jump off the balcony, kill herself. So you start out with death and killing yourself. Then we establish police detective Roger Murtaugh at home. There's a reason he's set out at home. Celebrating a birthday, surrounded by what? Family. A family with traditions that celebrates his birthday, because that's what they do. They get together for holidays, and this, of course, is his birthday, and now we're going to have Christmas. So we're going to have traditions and show you what a family looks like at the beginning of the movie. And he lives in a nice neighborhood, typical neighborhood. And then we go to a man in trouble, and that's the man in our story we're going to focus on today, Martin Riggs. He's a man in trouble, like George Bailey was. Single man who lives with his dog, his cigarettes, and an old TV set playing old cartoons. It sets it up dramatically. Living in an old trailer by the ocean. He just doesn't seem to be living a life that most Americans aspire to. He seems to be alone, no one else, no woman, no family, no children. Opposite of Roger Murtaugh, right? Family man in the suburbs, traditions, celebrating a birthday, celebrating Christmas because they've got the Christmas decorations up. And they do a good job at featuring Christmas in this movie, and it is a Christmas movie. Riggs seems to either be a high-risk taker or not care about his life at the beginning of the film. The first major action scene is an incredible action scene, but it's also set at what? Christmas time. It's set in a Christmas tree lot. And Shane Black likes writing at Christmas. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang is at Christmas. It's a fantastic shootout. Well done by the director. And Riggs uses the crazy in this scene, doing the little Three Stooges thing, slapping the guys, then rolling, shooting some guys. There's a gun to his head in this scene, and he says, shoot him, shoot him. So he's not afraid to die, right? Or does he want to die? Well, I think this is a Christmas movie, and here's what it hits home with. Christmas is a lonely time for many Americans that don't have families, or that do have families but can't see them because they're divorced or separated or whatever. But that hits home. This makes it a real Christmas movie. People with real problems. Martin Riggs has problems. He's lonely, isolated, no family, no kids, no wife. And many people are like that today, and they say Christmas time, and loneliness is bad all year round for Americans now, but Christmas time, they say it goes up. How many people at Christmas, and think about this, have no one? No one to celebrate, no one to go look at the tree with, no one to do the traditions with. Roger Murtaugh has traditional family. He can do all those things. Next, after that scene where he says, shoot him in the Christmas tree lot, we see him in his trailer. Does not seem like anyone visits him either. It's kind of a mess, messy single man's place. But many people will sit in a lonely trailer or a lonely one-bedroom apartment or their car because they have no money and they live in a car now, or homeless. at Christmas with no money, no family, and nothing to look forward to. No hope, joy, faith. So he's sitting on his sofa there in the trailer. In the background's a Bugs Bunny Christmas cartoon playing. Another Christmas moment. Christmas is rifled through this film. Dark and alone. You get the pain right away. You sense it. The director does a good job. This guy is isolated and alone and in depression. But he's more than that. Throughout America, we've had a suicide problem, and it has increased. They say the actual worst time for suicides is the spring, I believe, according to some studies, if that's correct and accurate. But there's also suicides at Christmas. But there's a lot of loneliness at Christmas for sure. Anyway, he's ready to die. In fact, he's going to do it himself. He's going to commit suicide. He even has a special bullet he loads for it, and he's going to blow his head off. And he puts the gun up, and then he puts it in his mouth. He's going to finish himself tonight. As his gun's in the mouth, we cut to Bugs Bunny. And Bugs Bunny says, "Merry Christmas, deck the halls." And I think that's there for a reason. Merry Christmas, deck the halls. So he wants to die, but he does not do it. He then looks and holds a picture of his wife and talks to it, saying, "I miss you. I will see you later, much later." Why doesn't he do it? Ladies and gentlemen, we will find out. He has just lost his life, you see, a wife of 11 years. She died in a car crash. Seems like outside of work, that's all he had, his wife. Seems like he doesn't have much else. Some men are like that, by the way, in society. Met a guy one time smoking cigars. He said he was divorced, going to commit suicide. And a lot of men don't have any other friends outside of their wife. So here's number one lesson. If you are married, make sure you have male friends that are not attached to your wife and on your own, not just your wife's friends. Lesson number one in this video. Make sure you have friends outside your wife and a social life. They say when a lot of men get divorced, they have no friends and they go into depression. Anyway, moving back to the scene, he misses her. He's lonely without her. Looks like she was his life, except the job. So the movie deals with this issue that's prominent in American depression. And next we find out the family guy that you set up and the single guy who's a little risk taker are going to be partners. Now, no one wants to work with Riggs. Roger just wants to get to retirement. Riggs just wants to die. Roger's a family man. Riggs is a complete loner. Roger has a house in a nice neighborhood. Riggs lives in a messy trailer with beers and cigarettes all over the place. Roger wears a suit. Riggs wears a Henley shirt and another shirt over it, maybe a twill shirt, unbuttoned with jacket and cowboy boots. Riggs smokes cigarettes driving down the car while Roger's worried about inhaling and living longer in his life of retirement when he retires. Risk-free Murdoch, risk-taking Riggs. And you'll find another difference coming up. When they get a call, Riggs gets excited. He says, "God, I love this job. He's so exciting." That's Riggs. We see another guy jumping from the film. Death makes its appearance again. He's going to commit suicide. So suicide runs through this film. And it's running through America now for men. Remember, the girl jumped at the beginning of the film, and this guy's going to jump off of the building. Well, Riggs is not going to partake that. He goes up to handle it. He ends up jumping off with him. Again, he's a risk taker. But after that, Murtaugh is furious at him, takes him aside to a little place, and he says, "Do you really want to die? Do you want to," or something like this. I'm paraphrasing now. I'm not giving you the lines. "Do it here. Do it here." So Riggs puts, he's got the gun, and he actually pulls the trigger. But Roger catches it. So Roger knows he's serious now, that he doesn't want to just get out. He wants to die. Because Roger is challenging him, "Go ahead, do it, do it." But he goes down and tells him, "There's one thing holding me back." And this is a manly trait. You know what's holding him back from killing himself? The job. He wants to get the bad guy. So we see a noble virtue in Riggs right away. He wants to catch the bad guys, and he loves his work and job. That's a manly trait, right? He wants to get the bad guys. He loves his job. And that holds him back from killing himself because he has a purpose, right? Riggs' purpose in this film is to catch bad guys, put them away, or kill them. Now, when they're driving down the road, Roger tells him he just had a birthday. And Riggs says, maybe we will stay alive long enough to buy you a gift. And it's a telling line. Here's what he says, and this is the key. This is the telling key. It's the least I can do after all the kindness you've shown me. Maybe Riggs, and the therapist earlier said he's crazy and unhinged. Maybe Riggs just needs someone, one person to be kind to him, to believe in him. Maybe others do this year at Christmas. Maybe they just need you being kind to them. Maybe they're lonely and alone and they need one person to be nice to you. Maybe that one person needs to trust them or be kind to them. You see, everyone's written off Riggs and thinks he's crazy. No one wants to work with him. How does that make someone feel? So at Christmas, let's be kind. There are many like Riggs out there. In fact, why not be kind all year? Don't just make this a Christmas movie. Let's be kind all year and take this principle through all next year. People are atomized. They're lonely. They're ever. As far as a Christmas movie, every time you see Murtaugh's home, you've got all these wonderful Christmas decorations out. And whenever they go in the house, it features the Christmas tree prominently. That was planned. That was designed to be a Christmas movie. And it brings the feelings of Christmas and the spirit. We always see the decorations inside and out. Very visible and prominent, important scenes is that tree. Now, soon after Riggs, and this is another lesson, you want to talk, you have to talk to other men. Soon after Riggs says, after all the kindness you've shown me, Roger invites him over to dinner. We'll come back to that. At the end of the dinner, Riggs gives Roger a compliment, and that's unlikely for this, for men sometimes. But he does. He says, you have a really nice family. Compliment from a guy's guy to a guy. Do you compliment people? Build them up? Edify them? Riggs does. Then he says, you don't trust me at all, do you? To Roger, outside his house. No one trusts him. People want to be trusted. Riggs wants to be trusted. Many people need one person to believe in them, one person to trust them. But Roger, with a smile, says, and this is where the bonding is coming, you make it through tomorrow without killing yourself or anyone else, then I'll start trusting you. So this is the start of a bond, a key moment. And this is one of your favorite scenes if you're a man coming up. It's a magnificent scene for men. Outside after dinner, Riggs says, I do it real good, you know. Do what? Roger says. When I was 19, I did a guy in Laos at 1,000 yards with a rifle shot and I win. Maybe 8 or 10 guys in the world could have done that shot. Only thing I was ever good at. What did we find out here? Riggs is the master of the story. Murtaugh's the regular guy, right? Riggs is the master. He can take a guy out at 1,000 yards in high wind with a rifle. So now that's fantastic for men, right? Because we want to be our best, and now we get to see a master in the film, and I think that's one of the attractive things in the film. Men like to see masters. We like to reach our potential. We like to become the best. And Riggs is the best at what he does. So that makes the film very attractive and dynamic for men. Then in another scene, we see him at the gun range, and Murtaugh shoots pretty well, and he's pleased with himself and proud of himself. And clever direction. Riggs hums and puts the target all the way at the back of the range. And he shoots rapidly, really fast, all these bullets with his handgun, his Beretta, that nice Beretta, magnificent Beretta. And he puts a smiley face on the target. He's the master. And we're showing he's the master. Christmas is everywhere in the film. When they go back to find the note about the daughter's been captured. You see the outside decorations first. Inside the tree, the first thing inside the house, you see the tree. Again, Christmas. It's got that Christmas spirit all the way through, flavor. The bad guys have taken Roger's daughter. When the bad guys make the next call again, you feature the Christmas decorations again. At this time, Riggs says to Roger, you have to do it my way. You have to trust me. There's a change occurring. Riggs now has his trust because they're going to do his plan and they're going to follow it. Getting Roger's daughter back. The bad guys have him. These are ex-CIA Special Forces guy mercs who burned down the drug business but took it over, Shadow Company, in the shadows, right? And the desert scene is another fantastic scene about showing the prowess and the master at work. Riggs, he's way out, and he has a sniper rifle. He's taking the guys out as Roger is negotiating for the daughter. He has a hand grenade. Brilliant action scene. Fantastic for guys. Just magnificent movie. And that's a great scene. Riggs is the kind of guy you want by your side. He is a lethal weapon. Hence, they have the song in the movie Lethal Weapon, which is a pretty cool song. You got to check it out. Now, at the end of the film, they're chasing the bad guys, and Mr. Joshua is the right-hand villain. He's not a comic book character. He's real life. He could be a guy like that. There are guys like that. So one of the things I love about this film is its serious tone. You believe it. It's real. And Mr. Joshua was not one of those stupid, over-the-top villains. You buy him. Played by Gary Busey. Well done. The acting's phenomenal with all the actors. And there's a fight at the end. First of all, Riggs has to get out. He's been captured, and he has to save the daughter and Murtaugh. But the bad guy gets away, and he goes to the house. So we haven't been able to see the right-hand master of the bad guy fight the master of the good guys, right? Master to master scene. But you see that at the end of the film. Gary Busey, Mr. Joshua, goes back to the house before the final fight scene. And Christmas Carol is playing on 2 TVs in the house. Another Christmas part. Christmas is all the way through this. And at the end, you see Horian Gracie has trained them in jiu-jitsu. It's a phenomenal fight scene. There's water going everywhere because he's busted a hydrant. And it's just fantastic. So you see great martial arts, great action. So it's a great action film, a great human story, and a great Christmas film with heart and meaning. And there's that pause. Riggs goes to the gravesite at the end of the movie and he says, "Merry Christmas, Victoria Lynn." That was his ex-wife. I love you. The ending of the film, you see the decorations in the house. We see the house exterior, and Riggs goes up to the door and he knocks, and the daughter comes to the door and he says, "Give this to your father. It's the bullet." She says, "It's a bullet." He goes, "Yeah, it's a present for your father." So he leaves and she says, "Do you want to stay?" He said, he's going to go on because he's a man. He's not going to intrude in the family, right? You can tell he's going to go home to nobody. He's going to be alone for Christmas again. So what can we learn from Lethal Weapon? Riggs has changed. Why did he change? Seems like they were opposite, but both did want to get the bad guys. Both were noble men on purpose, and they both had a larger purpose than themselves. They showed courage and loyalty to each other. They had bled together. Riggs saved his daughter and him. Riggs also saved Roger. He saved the daughter. He came through. That was Riggs. But what did Roger do? Well, he saved Riggs in another way, right? Something simple that you can do today. He offered him something. What did he offer Riggs? Friendship and some meals at his home. Simple, right? Friendship and some meals at his home. And that brought Riggs back. And it might just take one person today, you, to be kind to one other person or listen to their troubles or hear them or have trust in them or faith in them and believe in them, and they know you believe in them, to push them to come back. One person having an impact. That's powerful. You know what else is powerful? Friendship. Maybe this year you can invite someone out to dinner or listen or hear their problem and build a new friendship and take somebody out of their loneliness, kindness, friendship. Back to the end of the film, I was saying, we got away from it. The daughter opens the door, invites him in, but he says, "I got to go." He did not want to intrude, right? So, and there's just something about the scene. It's moving. You feel for him. He's going to be alone again this Christmas. But after they close the door, Roger runs out to him and says, "Riggs, after all you've been through, you think I'm going to eat the world's lousiest Christmas turkey by myself? You're crazy." You see? Now that's a moment between two guys. That's well written for men. Because he's not going to say, "Hey, I know you're lonely. Come in." That would be terrible. Do the man. Riggs, "You're crazy." You know, that's the last line. He says, "To eat the world's lousiest Christmas turkey by myself, you're crazy." And then it stopped for a moment. There's a pause. Riggs looks at him. He says, "I'll tell you a little secret." "What?" Roger says. "I'm not crazy." Roger says, "I know." Riggs, "Well, good. Let's see. See, it's over." Two manly men talking. Once it's said, it's over. And they go in. You see, they don't need to sit there and cry or talk about it or talk about their feelings. They're two guys talking. They've resolved it. Once it's over, it's over. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are how men operate. And at the end of the film, the house is all decorated and a song comes home. What do you think that song is? A Christmas song or not a Christmas song? It's a Christmas song. I'll Be Home for Christmas comes on. One man offered another man friendship, a depressed man. Riggs has found a home. And he won't be alone this Christmas. He'll be home. And if part of Christmas is in love is about giving, maybe you can find time to listen to one person who may have no one this year. Merry Christmas. We would appreciate it if you like this video to hit the notification button, subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you.